Imagine what would happen if we treated all our tasks as a rough draft. The purpose of a draft is not to be perfect, but to exist. And once we have that first stepping stone, it's easier to see that progress is possible without perfection. And progress is where the actual magic happens. Hey guys, what is up? Michal here. I'm an engineer and a project manager, and one of the things I really like to do is to draw. Not because I'm perfect at it, but because I really enjoy the process of drawing. And that's what we are going to do in this channel. I'm going to take simple concepts, different productivity techniques and management tools, and turn them into hand-drawn sketches. Today we are going to talk about the perfectionism as a fear of procrastination, and this topic is actually very close to my heart because I struggle with it quite a lot. So let's get into it. We are going to answer three questions here. The first one being the why does it happen? How can we identify it in our daily life, and or how does it manifest? And what we can do to overcome it or to fight it back. Let's have a look at the why first. Not surprisingly, we have to go back to the days where our survival heavily depended on perfectionism. When we talk about crafting the tools or weapons, imagine that you were responsible to make a spear, and the poorly made spear or blade could break during a hunt, risk failure or injury. Therefore, the precision and the quality were really crucial for survival. Building the shelters. Structural flaws could lead to exposure during the harsh weather conditions, and they could collapse during heavy storms. Another example would be from food selection and preparation. Simple misjudgment of edible plants or undercooking could result in poisoning or disease. And that would not be very cool for your tribe back in the days. When we look at the society today, it's maybe not at the extreme of survival, but if you grew up in an environment where mistakes were criticized or achievement was overly rewarded, you might have internalized the belief that your value is related to your output. And add to that some social pressures from social media where everything is basically perfect. It's easy to feel like everything we do is ought to be perfect. And that's where we can link it. Our brain is trying to predict the future by focusing on the outcome because this gives a feeling of control. And if we have some control, we are safe. And what is safe? It's perfectionism. If you do something flawlessly, you are most likely to be on the safe side. Everything less than a perfect is not so safe anymore, and our brain is trying to fight it. Also, doing something perfect results into dopamine spike, and dopamine spike feels good. That's it. By recognizing that perfectionism is the brain's way to protect us from fear and shame, we can start to challenge its logic. Instead of avoiding risk completely, we can try to reframe it as an opportunity to grow and to learn. And that would help our brain to recognize that not everything is unsafe and not everything needs to be flawless. Now a few words about how does it manifest in our daily life. It shows up in a subtle but very powerful ways. Maybe we spend hours writing an email that doesn't really bring so much value. We avoid starting a project because we don't feel ready, or we don't have a perfect plan, or the conditions are not perfect. Or we are simply stuck tweaking tiny details where the big part of the task is still waiting to be finished. Another example could be that we expect to master some new skill within a week, which is simply not realistic. So we don't even start learning that new skill. Let's talk solutions now. Fighting perfectionism is not about lowering our standards. It's about shifting our mindset. So what can we do? Number one, as always, we can break the tasks into smaller pieces. This helps to reduce overwhelm, helps to identify a clear starting point, and also to lower the stakes. The small mistakes are basically a small link to the small failures, and small failures are not as scary as a big failures. Um, Also, when we have a smaller task, they help to create the momentum because it helps us to shift the focus from imperfection to the completion. Next thing is just to embrace that imperfection. Like you can see on my drawings, they are far away from perfect, but they do the job. At least they do it for me. And maybe I believe it can help at least one or the other person out there as well. So embrace that and realize that actual perfection doesn't really exist and it's impossible to achieve. Next thing is focus on the process, not on the outcome. This is supported by what we said at the beginning of what can we do. So by breaking the task into smaller pieces. And last but not least, reward the efforts and reward the completion, not the perfection. So once you get your job done, your small task done, just reward yourself. And that brings us to the key point of the whole thing. We should strive for perfection, but we need to recognize when good enough is more than perfect. If you found that helpful, hit that like and subscribe button and let me know in the comments below how do you fight perfectionism. Until the next time, cheers, bye.